Hello, and welcome to Chapter 4 of Animorphs, Book 4. Uh, let's just, get right into it. Cassie is falling, and falling, and falling, and falling into the ocean. Splash! Her body hits the water, but she's still falling through the water. And as we remember, of course, because every one of us knows the exact plot line of this book. I even remember what happened. Actually, I read back a bit, and she fell. They saw a video, and the something happened with the video, and Cassie just fainted, and Jake caught her because he's a strong man, and he caught her. So she didn't hit the ground, but she fell into the water in her vision, dreamy type thing. And everyone's looking at her, and they're very concerned. And she's waking up, and they want to. All her friends, the gang, want to get an ambulance, and some of them object because it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. Our friend suddenly collapsed. But it's too dangerous to get an ambulance. And Cassie sits up and she says, "Nah, I'm fine. I'm, just a little. My head's spinning a bit, but I'm cool. And they're wondering what's with Tobias. He also fell down. He's an eagle. If you don't remember, Tobias is an eagle. He's a boy stuck in the consciousness of an eagle, in the body. He animorphed into an eagle and stayed that way. And so Tobias is lying down. His limbs are out, and one wing is folded under his body, and he looks dead. And they're like, "We're fine. I'm fine." But Tobias is not fine. And they listen to his little eagle heart. And he's not dead. Not dead. And his eyes open, and his instinct is to be an eagle. It's not an eagle. It's a hawk. A hawk, I think. Who knows? I could check probably. And they describe. Cassie is describing that his initial reaction is to be as hawk-like, because that's what they do. They have to sort of get over the animal instinct, the animal instinct, and get their human consciousness rolling. So she's describing that he sort of makes like a noise like a cat when they're trying to scare someone, and they make their head go between their wings and blow up their feathers so they look larger than they really are. So hashtag animal behavior, hashtag zoology. We all learned something. And Cassie takes on the responsible adult. She's the responsible adult, and she says, "Everybody stand still. Tobias, it's fine. You just fainted for a moment." And he's like, yes. I regained my human boy instincts. And he says, "Yeah, I fainted." And Cassie's like, "Yeah, I fainted too. There was like a dream, and it was like the dream, and there was a voice, and there was like and they both hear voices in their head, which is worrying because, hearing voices in your head is not a normal everyday thing." So and they all three of the kids agree that it sounds like someone needs help, and that this person is this something or someone is underwater. And when they saw the video, Cassie is speaking for everyone. When they saw the video and the writing on in the video, everything was like stronger. Everything was amplified. So So Jake is trying to be like rational, and he's like, maybe it's just a coincidence that all these three kids who can morph into animals have all had this sort of like dreamy thing. It's coincidence. He's like, I don't know, maybe I maybe felt something, like maybe small, and but I'm not sure. It seems like some kind of communication, but it's not a dream, and I don't think this is like a thing that we have to do. And then someone's Marco, who's a little more sassy, and he says, it's like, what are we getting, like telepathic messages from the Little Mermaid? Haha, what are we supposed to do with that? And then Jake looks at Cassie and he studies her, and he asks, Cassie, was the voice in your dream a human voice? And she's like, I haven't thought about that. Well, the first thing I saw, my instinct, is no, it is not a human. But then it's like, that doesn't make any sense. And then Tobias intervenes, and he's like, nope, not a human. Wasn't talking like word things. It was like projecting something, but it wasn't like human language word type things. And they're trying to think about what it was, and they're like, is it a Yerk? Which I think is the bad guy the bad species in this book. And they're like, no, it's not a Yerk. It's not the bad guy. And then Tobias is like, it's the Anzalite, which are the good guys in the species in this story. And then Marco's like, the Andalite, he says, and he sinks into his thoughts, and he looks away, and he's all, teenage. Words are hard, man. I don't know. He's thinking. Everyone is sitting down and looking out into the world, like, when you're on a bus and you listen to some music and you start thinking about things and you imagine that you're like in a deep video. Like a deep-ass music video where, like, you're thinking about life and stuff, and you're staring out into the distance, and that's what all the kids are doing. Is that a tangent? Does that count as a tangent? I don't know. And they're all thinking, and they're having a collective memory, or not really, but Cassie's telling us what they're all thinking about because apparently she knows. They're all back. They were all in this memory thing that they're having, coming back from the mall, and they were going through an abandoned building site when an Andalite spaceship came above them, and it landed, and a Andalite prince came out of it. The prince was wounded in a big battle. The big battle, she says, as if I have any idea what she's talking about. The prince was injured during this big battle with the Yerks somewhere out in space. There was a battle in space. And this Andalite prince was the one who warned them about the Yerks, the species that sort of gets into your brain holes and makes you a slave. Takes over your consciousness and like makes you do stuff you don't want to do. And the Andalite is the one who warned them and also gave them their power, the morphing power. Dum dum dum. And they were all. The memory is continuing. They're all hiding behind a wall while a few Yerks caught the Andalite, and a Yerk leader, his name is Vicer the Third, or Vicer the Third, I don't know, or Vicer 3, don't know. He killed the Andalite prince. He murdered him, moited him. And she has Cassie, who is our protagonist, or we're hearing it through her like brain thought things. She gets like a shudder when she remembers this memory, and she can hear the last call of the Andalite prince while he's being moited by the Yeerk. And then Rachel says he died trying to save us, and looks at Marco like angrily. And she says, I know it doesn't bother you, but the Andalite died trying to save Earth. And Marco shakes his head and says, I know, and you're wrong, Rachel. You're wrong. It does bother me. It does. And Rachel's all like heroing up. Well, there's an Andalite who needs help, and I'm going to go help him. Or I'm going to try and go help him. So Cassie and Jake change... they like exchange looks, and they're like, oh, Rachel's gonna go out for a fight because apparently she likes to fight, and she's been like the warrior princess of the group. And they're sort of, and Cassie's sort of like smiling a bit, and they ask Tobias what he thinks, and he's like, I'm a hawk. I can't help you if it's like water related. But that's not true. He could like look above. He has like hawk eyes. Huh? Hawk eyes. Extreme precise vision. And he could see from above, and he can telepathically communicate with everyone. And he can tell them what the hell's going on from above, and then he would be more help than actually another dude in the water. But he's like, I can't help a lot if it's water, but yeah, I'll come along if everyone's gonna go. And also Cassie tells us that Tobias was the one who stayed with the Andalite prince for the longest, when the Andalite even told him that he should go hide, and there was like a deep connection between the Andalite prince and Tobias, and he might maybe he's like, he feels more like he needs to help out, but he also maybe feels bad because he's a hawk now. And Cassie's also like, yep, I am also a hero. I cannot just ignore someone who wants help if this is what's going on. And they all look at Marco, and everyone's like getting angry at him because he usually argues with everyone because he's a little shit. No, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, he does sound like a little shit sometimes. So he just smiles and he says, I hate doing this stuff, but I also hate letting you guys down. And he then his face goes all serious, and he says, I was at that building site with you guys. I was there when the Visser something guy, and then his voice like chokes up, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna help. I will do whatever it is to help the person who had meant to save humanity, or the species. It's not a person, it's alien species who wanted to help the planet. So, that's the end of the chapter. I can't actually tell if anyone's enjoying this. I might be getting a little bit bored with this. But if you like it, I can continue to read, read this really short book in really long segments. I could do that. I need a break sometimes. It's nice to do this stuff. It's fun. And I'm really happy to hear that everyone else is doing lots of cool stuff. I hope everyone continues with their little abridgment projects. I'm really enjoying Harry Potter with Brandon, and I really hope Adva continues with the 50 Shades of Grey. Adva, keep going. That'll be awesome. And all the weird, there have been a lot of cool things coming up lately, and it would be awesome if everyone continued. I'm having so much fun listening, and if the old gods are with us, at some point the Swift will finish Game of Thrones, and we will all be able to rest a bit. So yeah, thanks for listening. Tell me if you would want me to continue with this shit. I will. Okay. See ya all later. Hope you're all safe and stay swifty.